Flavia Kabahenda Rwabuhoro, the Advocacy Advisor for the Uganda Parliamentary Forum on Social Protection. And I'm looking at a time when very many people, various parties are presenting candidates for the forthcoming general election in January. And this I'm talking about the members of parliament especially and the presidential candidates. And we know that usually the development goals usually guide us on what to hope for when our governments sign into the development goals, and then we are left to monitoring them as they implement the development goals. So in this case, the sustainable development goals would give us a hope. But by the look of things, there is a new paradigm that is not brought about by researchers or development partners or goals, but that is brought about by COVID-19. Because COVID-19 presented a new dimension on how we look at poverty and how we look at shocks, economic shocks, how we look at social protection, how we define the different things in poverty. And so that then gives us a new approach that must be brought into the manifestos, especially here in Uganda. We have different parties presenting different things, and everybody seems to be talking about poverty even when they may not necessarily be able to define a few aspects in poverty, because COVID-19 presented a new understanding of some aspects that what we actually thought was poverty was not, and what we thought were poor people actually turned out not to be as poor as we have been talking about them, because they were those who we thought were poor were there. They survived the COVID-19 season, but those who we thought were rich could not survive. Up to now, some of them have gone into shock. They have lost jobs, they have lost income, and so I would like to see a manifesto that brings out how they are going to define the poor people, how they are going to work with the same poor people to save situations that may lead people into shock. And more so, I would like to see in the manifesto the human component, because development is not about objects, it's about human. And if the people become rich, if people are assisted to get out of poverty, then even the objects like roads, electricity, and whatever we put will survive, will be useful, will be used the same way we think they should be used to empower people to be rich and create wealth. But all that we see is that most of the leaders are rushing to the objects part. We shall construct schools, build health centers, but nobody actually seems to be bringing out the human resource. Because the biggest resource we have in the country, the biggest resource we have on earth is actually the human resource. And I would like to see a manifesto that talks about the people. How are we going to work with the people to ensure that they benefit from the objects that we are promising? Because if we don't work with the people, the electricity will be there like a tourist attraction, roads will be there, markets will just be there empty like we see now. So that means we should go back to the person, to the people. The human development index is so low because we don't seem to target them directly. We think we should target them using electricity, we target them using schools and health centers, but the people should be targeted as people, so that their livelihoods are sorted, their livelihoods are insulated, that they will not continue to fall into poverty and shock the country. So I would like to see in a presidential manifesto a bid or a move to tackle the people, to ensure that the people are well, they are healthy, they are wealthy, and so the country will be stable. Because when the people are not wealthy and healthy, even cohesion, even the unity you talk about, most of the posters I'm seeing, people are saying, I am the one who will bring unity, I'm the one who will bring unity, it is for unity and peace. There cannot be peace, there cannot be unity, there cannot be cohesion if the people are not healthy, if the people are not wealthy, if the people cannot sort their economic issues themselves.